festival as the IAMI karts line up. Conor Scarisbrick and Joe Lewis share the front row, with Riley Cranham and Cole Glover just behind, while Henry Domain and George Davison complete the top six. All eyes fixed on the start lights on board with 88. Logan Howes 14th on the grid as the race gets underway. Teddy Woodard just ahead in the 31 cart as they go under the gantry, and there a good start from 23. James Roberts up front though. The pole sitter Conor Scarisbrick in the lead from Joe Lewis. Back on board with Logan Howes, 23, James Robertson, 79, Riley Wright just ahead in front of them all with the rear-facing camera. This is Jacob Ashcroft who's coming under attack now from Roberts, but Roberts can't find a way through into the hairpins for the first time. The race leaders come through. Jacob Ashcroft with a lovely move there down the inside of 83, Ethan Woodward into the first of those hairpins. That fourth place, we got 44, George Davison. So the GP plate, Riley Cranham, has dropped from third down to fifth place, and then just behind him in sixth position, Henry Domain with 99, Jack Fowler there in seventh place. Now we're going to get a replay into that first hairpin on board with Logan Howes. Ahead in the blue race seat, you can see Jacob Ashcroft making his move, and then 29 slides down the inside. Mason Thurlow, he delays Logan Howes, and 36, Max Haller, he's able to get through on the exit. Onto lap two, and Conor Scarisbrick has got company. Joe Lewis, number 6, could barely be closer, and he sweeps alongside on the way out of the corner, but Lewis, number 6, can't quite get the momentum. So it's Scarisbrick, 28, from Lewis, number 6. Third place, still Cole Glover, number 78. Fourth, number 44, George Davison, as they make their way down towards Pylon. And another look, but around the outside this time for Joe Lewis. So Conor Scarisbrick, a very good job here, but it's going to be a long race if Joe Lewis keeps putting all this pressure on him. He gets alongside again, over the curbs for the race leader, and he has a think about it down the inside. Fantastic racing, there was no contact there, and a very good effort from Joe Lewis, but he's still second, and he's got to be careful, because right behind him, 44, George Davison, while all that was going on, has got himself to third place, and he's very close to the tail of him. So there come the leaders, making their way out now through Reggie's elbow, down towards the hairpin section. Joe Lewis having to look around the outside because the inside line is covered. Behind them, the new third place cart of George Davison. Again, Scarisbrick knows he's got the inside line for the outfield hairpin, but he runs out wide now, and Joe Lewis gets the lead of the race. So all the pressure paid off. Number 6, Lewis, into first place. Scarisbrick down to second. Then it is George Davison rounding out the podium in the early stages. Just behind then, in fourth place now, you've got the GP plate of Riley Cranham. So he's gained a place back as well. Remember, he started, he qualified third on the grid, and they're all still relatively close together. That said, Joe Lewis, now that he's got the lead of the race, has had a very good second half to the lap there and pulled away by a few lengths. The battle for third might be the one to watch here, coming out of Stadium and towards the hairpin section. Look at the GP plate, reeling in the 44 cart of George Davison. George has got his eyes forward, trying to get himself second place, but he leaves the door open. He doesn't defend the corner, and through comes Cranham, and also picking off the place here is going to be number 78, Cole Glover, who sneaks back into fourth place. So 2 positions lost then for the 44 cart, down out of the top 3, down to fifth place. For George Davison, he's got right behind him as well Henry Domain and a group of 3 other carts breathing down his neck. So terrific battling here at the head of the field in this Bambino IAMI final. We're going to replay now. Look how late he was on the brakes, Riley Cranham. Got halfway alongside, no choice but to go out wide on the exit for George Davison. Then he loses another place. Back to the leaders, and Joe Lewis has been reeled in, and it's a repeat move from Riley Cranham. This time he's got the job done before he gets to the apex, and that's second now. So Conor Scarisbrick down to third place in the 28 cart, the former race leader, the pole sitter, and then a gap developing back to fourth place, George Davison. And in the background, number 99, Jack Fowler's got himself up to 6th, ahead of Henry Domain. Then it's 79, Riley Wright, and 22, Jacob Ashcroft at the back of this group in 9th position. There is the rear-facing camera on Jacob as he makes his way through this sweeping S-bend section and paddock bend at the end of the lap onto the start-finish straight. A big gap back then to this next group. For 10th place, 23, James Roberts, ahead of number 31, Teddy Woodard. You've got 66, Danny Bonham. 29, Mason Thurlow at the back of that group, so it's 10th, 11th, 12th and 13th all running together. Making their way down towards the hairpins, the leaders. Number 6, Joe Lewis, under all sorts of pressure here from Riley Cranham, and he goes wide on the exit. Cranham goes through. We've got a new race leader, our third different leader of the race. And having started third, dropped to 5th on the first lap. Riley Cranham, the GP plate, now leads. Joe Lewis, for now, down to second place. Third, still with them, Conor Scarisbrick rounding out the podium positions, and the more they battle, at them all. They allow the 4th, 5th, 6th place battle to close up to them. Joe Lewis has got no intention of finishing second in this race. He's already starting to try and put the pressure on the race leader. He goes a bit wide over the curbs on the exit. Lewis gets a better run, closes the gap back down to about a kart length, and he's good on the brakes as well into Stadium Bend. He's taking Conor Scarisbrick with him. So having done all the attacking in the race so far, it's now up to Riley Cranham to try and defend the lead of the race here. Joe Lewis, look, he's winding it up on the way into the hairpin, looking down the inside, and he goes through, and he goes wide, very wide on the exit. It was a glorious moment, but it was just a moment. So down to second place, almost immediately is Joe Lewis. But be careful not to allow Scarisbrick to get past him as well. And Riley Cranham has started to scamper away. Now, while all that was going on the way into Stadium Bend, this was a lovely move from Jacob Ashcroft, firing his way around the outside of Riley right for 8th place. And into the closing stages, we've now got Teddy Woodard, number 31, ahead of James Roberts for 10th place. Those 4 karts still running together in the midfield. A lap and a half to go, though, for Riley Cranham and Joe Lewis, who has closed the gap right back up to the race leader. Scarisbrick still with them. And then coming through the traffic, the 4th, 5th, 6th place battle, which still has at the head of it 78 Cole Glover, 44 George Davison in 5th. Lapping the 77 car to Bethany Freeman, you've then got number 3 Henry Domain and 99 Jack Fowler, who are battling at the moment over 6th place. There's still 1 or 2 damp patches offline, but it's pretty much a dry track now after a wet start to the day, and the times are getting quicker and quicker as the race goes on. And there we see the race leader starting the final lap of the race. And look at this challenge for 4th place coming from George Davison. A big look up the inside there of Cole Glover. But Cole in the 78 car bends him off. For now, it's going to be a long lap for him, though, to try and defend. What about the top 3 into the hairpin section for the final time? It's Riley Cranham still from Joe Lewis. Conor Scarisbrick 3rd. Lewis has a look at the inside into the 2nd hairpin. Thinks better of it. It's still a bit too far back, half a length or so. But he gets closer on the exit. It's looking a tiny bit scrappy now from Riley Cranham. Understandably, he's digging in, he's defending here, and he just can't afford to leave a gap because Lewis will be in. He's putting all sorts of pressure on. There's only really one more chance into the final corner. Cranham can almost see the checkered flag. Now he's a tiny bit wide on the exit. Lewis does close the gap, but it's Riley Cranham who wins. Here's confirmation of the results, with Riley Cranham taking the win by just 1/10 of a second from Joe Lewis.
I just tried my hardest. Yeah, happy.